yi kumeka eka buku ya Luka. Luke 21 verses 1 to 4. And I know Luke number 47 how. Luke 21 verses 1 to 4. Ahia namuta. Unfortunately, it is for today. Takumela basayaba mina batanhlayela. Un'wana ta tlhela hi Xitsonga, un'wana ta tlhela hi Xilungu. Loko ri nga ya Xipedi a nga tshinela loko ri vona Xipedi.
Nami nxeweta hinkwenu vito ra matimba ra N'wana Lokutini. Ni ta hlaya hi Xitsonga Luka 21 verse 1 to 4. Nhlokomhaka ya hina yi ri nhlengelo wa noni. Loko Yesu a tlakusa mahlo a vona swifuwo leswi hoxaka tinyiko ta swona exidzeni xa ntsengo wa tempele. A vona ni noni leyi a yi ri xisiwana yo hoxa swimalana swimbirhi leswi lavaka ku ringana sente ntsena. Kutani a ku, hakunene ndzi ri ka n'wina. Noni leyi ya xisiwana yi humeseke ku tlula hinkwavo. Noni leyi ya xisiwana yi humesile ku tlula hinkwavo. Hikuva vanhu lava hinkwavo va humeseke tinyiko leti va ti pampuleke exumeni xa vona lexo tala. Kasi wansati loyi u humesile swa vusiwana bya yena, swi nga hinkwaswo leswi a ta hanya ha swona. Na khensa.
Good morning, everyone. I'll read the English version. The widow's offering. As Jesus looked up, he saw the rich putting their gifts into the temple's treasury. He also saw a poor widow put in 2 very small copper coins. Truly, I tell you, he said, this poor widow has put more than all the others. All these people gave their gifts out of their wealth, but she, out of her poverty, put in all she had to live on. Thank you.
This is the word of the Lord. Eka mfambisi wa mpira, the Mbai family, the Mangolele family, the Shivamu family, in particular Sister Rebecca and Lily, the members of the EPCSA Pulukwan Parish, the members of the Girls Tanichawa, na unaba yuri kwenu kuruna kashtungu akwena wina. As I was preparing this sermon, the hymn 286 was ringing in my mind. Fuka lipia Yehova. Tokombela first in the front. Fuka lipia Yehova. On day number 6, after the celebration of the creation of the church and the descending of the Holy Spirit, which was last Sunday, Agorifica Pentecost. But as the family, we find ourselves in a period of mourning. A period of mourning, we're mourning the death of our child, Lethabo. In the period of mourning, we are currently mourning the death of our mother in Mopani. So it is a period where we say it's a period of mourning, and we say it is not going to be easy, and it is not easy. And as I indicated, I am the presiding priest for the day, and it is not an easy task which I find myself in. Last Friday, I was called to Lethabo is critical, and bakombela nitanta kongela before machine. Unfortunately, Logunifeka se affirmed because she was terminal at the time. Logunifeka, we sat with the family and we had a short sermon on Psalm 130. And at the time we were crying to God and said to the Lord, the difficulties which are around us, we are not coping. I am supposed to cope. And Psalm 130, for those who read the Bible, will tell you that it starts a little painful, but it ends very well. And the difficulty, especially family, was not easy, because you can imagine a mother seeing her own child going away in front of you. Before I go further, let me acknowledge Bakereke, Wambami, Mitinita Kumbotela, Ndiam, Tachalela Ndiam for the rest of the week. Ngilinanga teko tolo kunifika, ngo adolisa tolo, uyenza summary ya the whole week in terms of the sermon. And also, thank you very much. What a powerful sermon we got yesterday. Thank you very much. And I think here in the family, we are getting there slowly. The family is very happy to have the Evangelical Presbyterian Church around itself. Masukiba leswaku heridiam abileswa wan bangena tatmo kereke but botala ba hina ba ka mangole ba ka shibamu hingena kereke le ya PCS hela ikumeka ka mina be kumeka le uma aka kereke ya PCS Alexander in the Johannesburg parish Sikamfundisi Jawan at the moment. I'm saying at the moment because as we go on, Bafundisi Bajinjua on a regular basis. Filia Minana Montanir. For her it was small. In his eyes, it was massive. Ekayena ilesutso kandi ekayena akulesu. La ina sa kona isa na sumunho hato susaya o sinar. Simunho hato susungula iyesu. Loyi akari asalela lokuba kari bangenisa timali ta vona andeni ka the treasury boxes or andeni ka minyikelo lokuba kari bangenisa. Hi hlangana na van'wamkume lava va kari va nghenisa timiliyoni ta vona ndeni kwalaho. Loko hi suka kwalaho hi hlangana na wansati luya wa nuna, the poor widow, wanuna loyi a nga fumanga a ti tela na 1 cent yena la ka Xitsonga mali ya kona yi ringana na 1 cent. N'wina lavantshwa mi tiva ku ri na half a cent khale. So yena a ti na 1 cent. Aka masiku lama namuntlha loko ku ri na 10 cent va ku nyika yona. Loko u xota hi 10 cent loko ya xava ka Pick n Pay, they don't even worry about the 10 cent because it doesn't matter anymore. That's how little the money was. And look, at the background of the book. Like it's a little Hindu, but then you look. And Shampoo, or maybe Shampoo, he is the only person in the Bible who wrote a not only one book, but 2 books. Who is a Gentile? He is the only person. And I put achika na Saint Paul. And with the water Christopher, got the book that I saw, you saw that in Luke, young berry, by the material apostle. The book of Luke is one of the 4 Gospels. And as we know that the 4 Gospels is the foundation of our Christianity as we find it. Without the 4 Gospels, maybe what we could have done. If the 4 Gospels were not there, let's suppose the 4 Gospels had been banned, we did not have the 4 Gospels, we could have gone back to Isaiah, because in Isaiah there is a text which speaks about Jesus Christ, there's a text which speaks about everything, almost everything which we had to understand about Christianity. But the 4 Gospels are the main books which we are currently using. I am not going to talk about maybe the detail of the whole book of Luke, but in brief, chapter 1, there are 2 sections. The first section is the widow's offering, and the second section is the destruction of the temple and the signs of the end times. Kuna problem La Avatara people, but they don't take the scrolls and write the Bible. They decided to put headings into the Bible. And those particular headings are now holding us to make a decision in terms of the preaching of the word. Hence, the but if you go back into this text which I've looked at, you realize that it is the text which is necessary for a day like this, because it is appropriate for a day like this. Chapter 21 was on a Wednesday of the Holy Week. Chapter 21, just before Christ was born. So you actually realize that what was happening. And if you look at what had happened between just before chapter 1 and where we read, and just after, you realize that before that, Yesu abalabla na the Pharisees and the scribes. And he called them hypocrites, because he was talking about all the things which were done. What was happening just before chapter 21, I would suggest maybe I would start Matthew 23, because Matthew 23 is a longer version of when he speaks about the hypocrites. You can look at it from that perspective. Then it comes into the morning where Christ is looking at people putting money into the treasure. As they put money in there, he actually asked himself the question, what's happening? The rich people were putting money in there. Then suddenly, this poor woman, and he dropped his 2 coins. And the reason why they mentioned the 2 coins is because the treasure, it was big, still things were so level one woman this was to buy give it money so everyone can actually hear and see what you put in. Then what Christ did, he said, this woman has given more than any other person. Then he continued to say, this woman gave everything she had to make her survive. And that's the reason why this text should not be used looking for somebody. Because what we say, we don't say to people, bring everything and then after you should go and die. The only time you can do that is on your last day. Look, oku wena sumanman wena ile takotani wena sumanman ile programming wena sumanman ile switch. Then after you've given everything you have which makes you live, then you can die. Hence, if you look at that particular text, it is appropriate for a day like this because the giving there, you give everything when there is nothing more to give. And if you use it, you're going to abuse people because you're going to say, but there's still life after tomorrow. I'm saying, if you got a kereke time, if you got another farmer suppress, farmer some of Utanika kereke, it up Akela Mate. Lobo are quite Matero Akisafrika Matinu. Materuta or woman who can think. Hence, to pronounce this passage in that context, you start understanding that particular passage. And also, immediately after that, you look at the end of times. So, that situation, I went learning 2 years ago before Christ came to the cross. It was in the week of the cross. Hence, it becomes necessary that this text can be used on a day like this. On that particular day, Jesus was observing. And the main aim was that he was observing what was happening on Passover. And you know that during that week in Jerusalem, every year in Jerusalem during that Passover week, there's a lot of pilgrimage. So if you're giving money on that particular week, you follow what you tell you. No matter the bank, only man to prepare for corner where we are kitchens and Susan or Nashville. Obviously, there's a big show off of wealth on that particular day. But the contrast of that particular day is that there was this poor widow. And as Africans, that if you're a widow, you find out the face, you go to get a one linda, to show the issue at Tamakashona, 8 years, Ukarutamana, number law, and our Tamakashona, Fanasuka, one linda in an obscure place. So we understand why we use this text for today. In my theme, I spoke about the small loss, but it was big or massive loss. Meaning, you lost a child. Bakampai, you lost a child. And that child looked like a tiny little girl who can fit in this box. But as a nation, we have lost a mother. As a nation, we have lost someone who was going to teach our kids. As a nation, we have lost someone who was going to be mentoring everyone in this particular community. That loss may look like it's a small loss which will fit in a small grave. But that loss, Akashkulu, was a massive loss. Hence, when God sees a small piece, he realized that the contribution was much more than any other person. We might be sitting here and look at the young girl. I'm told she wrote some books. Some of us have not even started writing a paragraph. We're told that she used to go to church. Some of us don't even go to church. Maybe you're lucky today to be at the church. I'm joking, and I'm a member of the EPC, and I will remain an EPC member, and I will die an EPC member. You might have lost a daughter, a granddaughter, a sister. But what you've lost is a community builder who was supposed to build this particular community, whose aspirations were supposed to be resting on her. For those who had an opportunity to meet her, you were touched by an angel. Because she was an angel, you know, an angel loves so much. When she comes to you and says, I love you, you are very lucky to be loved by an angel. Daily, when your daughter says, I love you, you are very lucky to be loved by an angel. Mommy, when she says, I love you, you are lucky to be loved by an angel. And us as the community, us as the family, us of those who lived with her, who saw her in our family gatherings, we knew how bubbly she has been. We knew how a good person she's been. It might look like she's going to fit in a 6 by whatever grave, but we've lost a grave. And the reason why she is not buried by 4 or 5 people here is because of the amount of loss we've made. For us to be sitting here seeing so many people, it is because we are crying out to say that we have lost a great deal. As I conclude, I say to the family, I say to the church, let's do something which is called good grief. By good grief is that you say, Orela Orekutsakini. And good grief, one of the first fundamentals of good grief is that you don't stop crying. Because if you cry, you'll bottle it up. And the day it bursts out of you, you might not be controlled. By good grief, how do you have good grief? Then you have good grief. Because with that particular good grief, you are able to connect to God. By good grief is that you must always remember her on all those good moments. Just think about that particular day when she made you laugh. That particular day when she made that naughty thing. That particular day that made you a better person and you smile. And at the end of the day, and you sit back and say, whatever, and you laugh. That's what I call good grief. Because if you don't practice good grief, you're going to have a serious problem. I can't stop you from grieving. You can't stop me from grieving. But the only way of making certain that this particular grief is better for me, it's better for everyone, is that we must make certain that we look into the principles of good grief. And those little principles can take you a long way. I sang 3 songs trying to connect, and fortunately, God connected with me. And fortunately, God spoke to me. And fortunately, God helped me to be strong. And God helped me to, when I saw me standing up and talking, I said, who am I to go and stand up and cry? In fact, you did very well with taking me through the one with Father, because as I was preparing, I actually said to myself, how do I stand in front of you and not cry, but make me strong with your partner, with the other mother? You said you should refuse to say a stepmother. She's not a stepmother, the other mother. And I was intrigued and happy to see that all of you, in fact, at some point I became envious when I saw the three of you standing side by side. And when I looked from that side, I could see the bed. I saw one hand was this side and the other hand was on the other side. What a lucky man. I think that is what makes us to go on. And from that perspective, I actually said to myself, that's part of good grief. And the family is making it a way that we make certain that we realize that we need one another. We don't need to fight about anything. Psalm 104 and 5, it says, be thankful to him and bless his name, for the Lord is good, his mercy is everlasting. Amen.
Let me just remind you, Kuriloko Yomala, the pallbearers, Tawakuri Lakereke, Miki Lulamsela, Kwami, Mesa, Bodis. So, the Sungata Swing Sassola, Kuna Buti Sobo Manuleke, Bata Himelela. Vakure simura kwa vafana humesa laha ekereke. So vakereke vita va mi kha mi humesa bokisi hi switsongo leswaku mi va mi karhi mi va nyikana opportunity ya ku va va hi yimelelela ntsongo, and then kusuka kona mafambelo ha ma tiva. Kuta rhanga va camera va video ku landela movha wa mfundhisi, then ku landela Hes, ku landzela va family.